Hey, Jack here again, and it's time again for another question of the day right now. And the question I got, and again, I got it from our Facebook group, Forever Cash. Somebody basically asked like the equivalent of like, hey, I sent 300 letters out and I still don't have a deal. What now? And then it's in essence indicating like, hey, this stuff doesn't work. Well, let me explain a concept to you that is called, it's a combination of the concept called the law of large numbers and also the concept of the law of averages. So if you take those together, and that law basically says that over a large sample of data, if there's an average, that any kind of excess kind of variations, they're going to average out to an average thing. Now the average in our land flipping and lot flipping real estate without houses technique, right? The land profit generator. If you want to know more about that, you can go to landprofitgenerator.com or you can go to jackbosch.com/land and find out more about it. We'll put also a link below here. And if you, in that scenario, it's say if somebody writes, if the average in our deals is that you write anywhere from 300 to 500 letters and you get a deal, then that does mean, then that is the average. So that means that, does that mean that if you send out the first 300 letters, you get a deal? The answer is no, right? I mean, the answer is absolutely no. Let's compare that to fishing, right? So you go out with your fishing rod and you put your fishing pole in. And let's say if the average of fishing statistics tell you that on average for every 20 times that you throw the fishing pole and reel it in slowly, you're actually gonna get a fish. For every 20 times you do that. I don't know what the real statistics are. They might as well be 10 or 100 or I don't have a clue. I'm not a fisherman, right? But let's just say it's a 20. So every 20 times you put it out there, you get a fish. And you put that thing out one time. Can you expect to have a fish? No, right? What if you put it 20 times out there? Can you expect to have a fish? On average, yes. But now let me ask you, what if you throw out that fishing rod 1,000 times? Right, all day long. You put it out there and you reel it in. You put it out there, reel it in. You do it 1,000 times. Chances are that after 1,000 times, you're gonna have 50 fish. Right? You're going to have perhaps not 50, but you're going to have either 45, 47, 53, 55, anywhere, but already much closer to the average of 1 per every 20. Right? And that's the same thing in the real estate industry, right? When you send out 300 letters, then that is the average, but it doesn't mean that your first 300 letters are going to get you a deal. But if you send out, let's say 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000, then unless you're doing something wrong, and it's quite possible, right, that you send out to the market. We did one time, we sent out letters to Sonoma County, California, not remembering that it's wine country, right? And the average acre costs $500,000, right? We sent out 900 letters and we got nothing from that, nothing, zero. We only got 2 phone calls from it. So obviously you can make mistakes in that. You want to go follow our land profit generator techniques. We like to be in the city, we like to be in the outskirts of town, and we like to go after large ranch-like properties a couple of hours, an hour, 2 hours away from bigger cities. That's our sweet spot. Now, if you pick anything different than that, then all bets are off. But the point is, if you follow the proper rules, even then, if you send out 3,000 letters, let's say 3,000 letters, you should at that point of time be starting to come up to the average on there. Let's say if you send 6,000 letters, which I know sounds like a lot of money, but if you do that, then of course, then by that time you should be definitely in that range. And that's actually what one of our students did. He sent out 3,200 letters or so, and he got nothing. Now that's extremely unusual because our averages are 300 to 500, right? So he sent out 3,200, and he got absolutely nothing. Then he went and sent another 3,000 out, and in those 3,000, there were 25 deals inside, or plus minus 24, 26, something like that. So if you look at it, 25 deals over 6,000 letters is now less than the average of 300. So the average came through, but it came through only after you're doing a bigger sample. Does that make sense? So you got to get the sample size enough. In other words, statisticians would say the sample size needs to be large enough for the results to be representative. Does that make sense? It sounds very technical, but basically what it says that is like if you flip a coin one time, 10 times, it might be 10 times head. That's not representative. A number of 1,000 coin flips is representative, and at that level, the number has averaged out to almost 50-50. Right? 20 times putting the fishing rod out there is not a representative a sample size that's large enough. But 1,000 times the fishing rod is a sample size that's large enough. So you gotta get to a big enough sample size in order for you to do that. And particularly as you go on, you'll hone into that, because at the beginning I will recommend that you go into multiple counties and do a test mailing. And it's very possible that if you do 3 markets, 2 of them come back with nothing and 1 comes back with some good results. So then your results will be on average below average. On average, they will be lower than expected, but it's because 2 of the 3 counties didn't work. So then you go and take that one and take another 3, and you have another one or two that fits, and now you're in 2-3 counties, and that's when you go full out. And that's when your average starts roaring back, because now you send out 500 more letters, and you might get 5 deals from that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I want to keep in mind that when this person in our group, Forever Cash, you feel free to search the group on Facebook and apply to join for it. This person said, I sent out 300 letters, I got nothing. This person unfortunately did not understand that the sample size matters, and a sample size of 300 is just not large enough. You got to give it a little bit more. At the end of the day, it's a business that needs to be treated like a business. All right, thank you very much.